Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Reality Recap. I'm your host, Queen E, and this week has just been so hectic in the Love Island world. Number one, USA is on fire, but I gotta say, UK started on week 2 of US, and by the end of their first week, they're coming in hot too. I'm not gonna cover both, but just know if you were curious if Love Island UK was worth the watch, I believe it's going to be a good season. So definitely tune in for that. But we're going to talk about week 2 of Love Island USA season 7. And y'all were chiming in. We got a DM. We got some more voice notes. We got Sydney and Mr. Sydney, whose name is actually Robbie, back to give us their feedback. So I'm so excited. If you are curious to know where to send your voice notes, where to have your voice be heard on the podcast, go to Reality Recap Pod on Instagram. If you send it over there, we will see it and hopefully we'll add it to the show. On top of that, if you are watching me on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I would greatly appreciate it if you were to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's set a goal. Let's just say 10K by the end of the summer. I feel like that's possible. And if you are watching and you want an audio version, we are available on all streaming platforms. There's an ad-free version also available for Apple subscriptions. Let's get into this week's drama. So we pick up with Bella's departure. Now, a lot of people were shocked by Nick's decision. I wasn't. It seemed like the only thing that was really keeping Nick's interest in Bella was their physical connection, because they had built a personal connection and it wasn't enough to keep his attention, right? As soon as Cierra came, he jumped on that situation real quick. So unfortunately, I don't think his connection with Bella was going to hold water. Now, Bella has been out talking in the streets, and she had, I'm saying in the streets like she be out here in the streets. Y'all know what I'm saying, in the podcast streets. And she said that she had another connection, and that connection is Taylor. But Taylor was real comfortable in his coupling, so he didn't want to ruffle any feathers. I guess Bella felt the same. I personally would not have put those two together. But for me, I could be reaching. I don't really care that I am. I feel like this feeds into my first impression of Taylor. He seems like a fraud to me. I don't know. I don't believe in his connection with Alondra, and we're going to talk about that later. I don't believe in it at all. I think that he saw a safe bet in her. She's into him. They have that country thing. Like maybe they would have that charm that's maybe different from the other couples. And he just wants to ride this situation for as long as possible. I don't think he's genuinely into her. So to hear that he actually had eyes for Bella as well and was just, I guess, too timid to explore that connection, I'm thinking, yeah, fraudulent behavior. Now, y'all might think that my blanket statement was, uncalled for when I said that the country people typically stick with the country people, but I felt like he was leaning into this whole yeah, I'm a country boy. Yeah, he was leaning into it a little bit more than what he actually presents in real life. I'm going to die on that hill. I don't care what anybody says. So to hear that the Taylor T that I wasn't aware of was that allegedly there's a woman on TikTok who's been saying that is her boyfriend. And they had a conversation about him coming on the show and him doing this just to boost his career. Fraudulent. I don't have proof, but it's feeling very fraudulent. I'm sorry. Taylor, it's not looking good for you, bruv. Not at all. So after Bella left, we had Huda in tears. This girl was sobbing as if Bella had been decapitated or something. She's like, oh, she's my best friend. I just love her so much. Girl, you gonna see her in a few weeks. It's totally fine. But this is where we start to see the cracks form with Jeremiah and Huda. Basically, she's like, oh, I didn't think guys would be like that. And Jeremiah's like, hold on. Girls can be like that too. Girls can blindside a guy. Girls can string a guy along. Don't make it seem like it's just a guy thing. But we're starting to see Jeremiah have all these facial reactions, all of these comments that he wants to say to Huda but feels like he can't. And that's going to be a theme throughout the entire second week of the show. Since we were talking about Bella, let me just go back to Taylor, and Alondra real quick. I noticed that Taylor is able to say, hey, listen, that physical connection is just not there for me. I feel like he expresses that more clearly with the other guys than he does with Alondria. But whenever those same guys add pressure, and it's mainly Ace, whenever Ace is like, hey, you're going to lose this girl. She's cooking for you. She really likes you. She wants things to progress. That is the only time when Taylor steps up. That's the only time when Taylor's like, okay, fine, let me show the girl that I like her. But until this last bombshell came in, going straight in for Alondria, this guy just wasn't doing enough. He wasn't doing anything. And he feels very performative as well. Like when he had that dancing date with Ace, when Ace was the instructor, it's like the kiss was for the guys. Like, look guys, I did it. Yay, pat me on the back. I just know I'm not liking it at all. At this point, I kind of wish that he would have just stuck with Bella, or at least like explored that option and see where that would have went. But yeah, I think he's taking Alondria for a ride. I don't know if it's because he has somebody on the outside or because he's waiting for somebody else to come in on the inside. That sounded weird, but I'm not gonna dwell on it. Then we have Nick. Nick has been withholding information. So he obviously was building a bond with Bella, right? He was exploring both equally, but he wasn't making it like very explicit. Like he wasn't showing it off in front of the other girls. So neither girl knew how deep the connection was with the other person. So when Bella left, she was like, oh, I just felt like you sold me a dream. And when Nick told Cierra that, Cierra was like, well, did you give her any indication that it was more than what you told me it was? He's like, no, not really. Yes, really. You're kissing the girl up in soul ties. Like you're holding hands with her on the day beds and stuff. Like you're making it seem like you're really sold on her. So I can imagine why Bella was blindsided by the whole situation. And then Cierra is doubly blindsided because she didn't know that the connection with Bella was as strong as it was. And then on top of that too, when she asked him if he gave her any extra reassurance, he said no. But then she finds out by way of Alondria that yes, indeed, he was kissing up on Bella before she left. Now, y'all think Alondria really did slip up? Because I don't think that was a slip up. Not at all. I think that was deliberate. She had to have known that the other girls didn't know because she had a conversation with Taylor. Taylor was giving her information. She was giving Taylor information. So I'm pretty sure the girls didn't know what the guys knew and the guys didn't know what the girls knew. At least that's my opinion. Going back to Jeremiah. Now, as we know, Huda has said, she's a mommy. We're going to talk about this whole I'm a mommy thing later. And Jeremiah is really struggling to process this. Here's my thing. Jeremiah has made some valid points in that he cannot fully know if he's not going to be able to deal with this situation until he's on the outside living this situation. You know what I'm saying? However, he says time and time again, I never really thought I'd see myself dating somebody who's a single mom. I thought that when I had kids, it would be our first kid together, stuff like that, which makes me think that you don't want this for real. And it's okay if he's honest about that. I believe as Huda, she had to have known, actually she did know because that's why she was withholding. She had to have known that coming on this show, being a mom, things were going to be a little bit harder for her. People are not going to be potentially not going to be as keen to pursue a relationship with her. You know what I'm saying? So I can't blame Jeremiah for not being like ready to go. Like, yeah, single mom, let's do it. Like, I can't blame him for not wanting that, but I can blame him for not being as transparent as he could be. I feel like when he speaks to Alondria, when he later speaks to Nick, like that's when we get to know more of where his mind is at. But in terms of his conversations with Huda, it's always like, oh yeah, you never know, but I'm sold on you right now. We'll just see what happens on the outside. We'll wait for that to happen. Like, let's just focus on us right now. I think it's important, more so because she is a mother, to think if you're going to be able to sustain this relationship on the outside. Being with Huda is a lot different than being with these other girls. You could maybe take things easy with them. Whereas, listen, Huda's daughter is probably even watching the show. Like, you're already in the picture. You're already going to be seen as somebody who's going to be a figure in her life, not necessarily a father figure, because the father is present. He wants to make that clear that he's a present father. but you're going to be involved in this child's life in some form or fashion. He has to be more critical in this relationship than he would in other relationships. So we're going to start with the first voice note. I don't know if I should say who they're all from because I didn't even ask if these people were comfortable with their names being shared. So I'm just going to not say who it is. And then later I'll verify if the people want to be exposed.
Why are these people always lying? Like, they be going in their groups or whatever, then they say something, then when they go into the individual individual chats, they're lying. Like, firstly with Huda lying to the girl saying that Jeremiah is the one who said they must stay together when she's the one who said they must stay together, and then she going to Ace up after the pie thing and saying that honestly the only reason why I chose you is because I didn't want to kiss Amaya. When you told Amaya it's because you didn't want to pie her. Like, okay. And then what's the other one? There's just a lot. But anyway, I think this might be the end of Jeremiah and Huda, which is good.
I also think we're getting to the end of Jeremiah and Huda, more so by the end of week 2 than near the beginning. In terms of Huda lying, yeah, she's a little bit deceptive, you know. What was mentioned in this voice note? So she said that after her date with Jeremiah at the water park, he said that he's, excited for them to move in together. Now, I totally missed that conversation the first time around watching it. It was only after watching other people's commentary that I was like, oh yeah, that's not what he said at all. Listen, when these two are on my screen, am I paying attention? Absolutely not. So basically he was like, you know what, it'd be nice for us to, do the long distance thing for a little bit. Then we can move to the same city when our leases are up, see how that works. Then eventually down the line, we can explore living together. So it wasn't like he was saying, oh, let's just jump into living together and stuff. But Huda made it seem as if that's what he said. Now, I don't know if that was something deliberate from Huda or if Huda is just so clouded by her infatuation of this man that she genuinely believes that that's what the conversation was about. That could be the case. Then the voice note was also talking about Huda lying to Amaya, or Huda telling a different story from Amaya to Ace, right? So they had a challenge where it was like a pucker or pie, right? And there was a question of who would be excited for a bombshell to come in. Huda decided to pick Ace. Ace was not happy about that at all, right? So then the girls are talking about it after, and she says, well, I could have picked you, Amaya, but I didn't want to pie you, girl, in case I was going to pie you. But then when she talks to Ace, she's like, oh, well, I wasn't going to kiss Amaya, you know what I'm saying? So there's something about Huda that seems a little bit deceptive, whether or not she means to do it intentionally. This is the second occasion now that I can think of off the top of my head where she could have been forthright with something and decided not to. And it just makes her look shady. I don't know if it's deliberate. I don't know if it's game plan. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's giving a little bit shady boots. We'll see. We got a DM. I'm going to read it. It says, hey, Queen, just wanted to gossip about Love Island USA for a second. LOL. So on to the most recent episode, when Jeremiah was on the dock talking to Amaya, he was talking about how solid he is with Huda and how he will talk to her, but isn't interested in anything extra because of his connection with Huda and blah, blah, blah. Girl, he had his fingers crossed the entire time. The camera catches it at one point and it's hilarious. I completely missed that. I'll have to go and fact check that, but I don't know what he was crossing his fingers to. Maybe it's like a reflex thing. I don't know. Maybe he was crossing his fingers to say that he is closed off with Huda or that he's open to chatting with Amaya. It's really hard to know what his intention was, if it even was intentional at all. But when Amaya came in, Jeremiah was like, I'm focused on Huda, solely focused on Huda, which is so interesting because the cracks are starting to show between them because Huda is feeling as if Jeremiah is not given enough. Like she feels like the other guys are doing more in their relationships. The other guys are making more intentional moves, like planning dates and making breakfast and stuff like that. And I'm thinking the man is really like, Where it matters, he proves that he likes her. Another woman will come and talk. He's not interested at all. Now, Bella did go on a podcast and she said, I'm not going to quote it, but she said something to the effect of Jeremiah is waiting around for a Latina to come in. I don't know how far true that is, but he did say in one of those episodes in week 1 that if somebody foreign came in, I don't know what foreign means to him. I'm sure it's like synonymous to when guys say they want somebody exotic, that he's willing to give that a try. So is he sold on Huda, or is he just waiting for the next best thing to come in? Who's to say? Let's move on to what else has been going on during the week. Let's talk about this Ace and Amaya babe drama. So Ace couples up with Amaya, right? He could have picked Shelly because he went before Austin. He decided not to do so. The streets believe that that was a decision pushed by the producers. I don't know. We're not there, right? He picks Amaya. In his speech, he's talking about he's so excited for them to spend time together, to talk more, to be in the bed, to hang out, to wada. Then, immediately after the recoupling, don't touch me. I'm not a touchy person. I'm adding some tone. He wasn't like rude, but that's what he was saying. I'm not somebody who goes fast in these things. Like, I'm very much a slow burn, like not too much on me. Okay, cool. But then he made it seem like Amaya was like throwing herself at him, and that could be true, but based on the edit, we didn't see that. So I thought, like, why is this guy doing so much? Like, the girl ain't even pressing on him like that, but he's like, no, don't touch me, don't whatever. Then Amaya, she's used to saying the word babe, and you can just tell that this is something that she says casually. Even in my reviews, sometimes I'll be like, baby. I ain't calling y'all my baby. I only got the one baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm not referring to y'all in a romantic sense. And I don't think that Amaya meant it in that way either. She told him time and time again, this is just my verbiage. You know what I'm saying? He did not like that at all. And how he snuck her into, oh my gosh, the man was like, oh, what do you typically call your boyfriends? She's like, yeah, babe, baby, whatever. Yeah, I also don't like that you call me that. It makes me uncomfortable. Ace, come on. Like, I want to like you, but sometimes you be staying and doing stuff that I just don't understand. So he then is like, you know what, let me focus on Shelly. He plans a date for Shelly. While Shelly is getting prepared for this date, Amaya decides she's just gonna let Shelly have it. Now, a lot of people have been pointing fingers on who's right, who's wrong, who's whatever. I don't agree with the way that Ace was talking to Amaya before he decided to just end things completely with her. But I also don't agree with people deliberately choosing not to understand what Amaya was saying. So Amaya's main points were the fact that she doesn't appreciate that these boundaries that Ace has set are selective. They're boundaries to push her away, but whenever Shelly is in the equation, these boundaries don't apply, right? She also has an issue with the fact that Ace didn't put a name on who he wanted to pursue. Clearly, it's Shelly, but she didn't know that. She thought he was just going to play the field, but really he was just going to get to know Shelly, right? Then she has a problem with Shelly because she feels like she was just confiding in Shelly. She was just telling her how frustrated she is, and she believes that Shelly was pocketing that information to then have a leg up on her in terms of pursuing Ace. I don't know how far true that part is, but I understand her frustration with the rest of it. Now, is Amaya justified to be upset about Ace's actions? Ace's boundaries? Not necessarily. If somebody says, I'm not comfortable interacting with you in this way, that's that. You can't then be upset that they feel comfortable interacting that same way with somebody else. That's their prerogative. Don't worry about that. That ain't got nothing to do with you. If anything, they're making it clear where you stand. Baby, pick yourself up and move on. Pick yourself up and move on. Okay? What were the other things? Him not putting a name on things. I guess I could see how that would piss her off, but if he said, I want to explore, it doesn't matter what the name is. The fact is, you are not the only option. To me, that's enough information, truly. So they have a conversation on the dock. She's yelling. Ooh, the Dominican was Dominicaning. The girl was like, I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. It was a lot. But, yeah, at the end of the day, they just decided they don't like each other at all. I don't know if they will ever be cordial in the villa. At least they figured it out sooner rather than later, because imagine if it was a situation where he was just tolerating her, she develops feelings for him, and then he's like, oh, it wasn't even like that this whole time. You know what I'm saying? So at least they figured out that they're not for each other sooner rather than later. Let's listen to another voice note here.
Here comes Amaya and Ace again. Sorry. Ace was so misleading. So misleading. Like, that was some bullshit. And I'm glad that he's reaping what he sowed, because how could you could have chose Shelly, and the white boy could have chose Amira, whatever the freak her name is. Like, anyways, it's too early for anyone to be like, you are the one. Like, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think the guys are wrong in I don't think Ace is wrong in being like, I want to explore. I think the timing was really off, and it now people keep saying he's a game player, and now that has people's doggy ears up, because, like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it made more sense for him to go with Shelly, because they actually had something concrete, like something, and I don't know if it was playing safe, where it was just like, I don't know. I also feel like I don't blame Ace with the whole babe thing, because, like, I'm also a slow burner, and I don't like, don't call me no damn pet names until we know each other for real. Like, don't play with me. And also, don't be touching me too early. But then again, it's just like, also, when you really like someone, you don't care that much. You don't have that strong of boundaries. And he was not like that with Shelly. So it's just like, why not choose her?
I think that's why people are questioning Ace's intentions. It's like, okay, you could have chose Shelly, you didn't. You could have let Amaya know what it was, you didn't. You saw that Shelly has been connecting with Austin, but it's only after your options were limited that you wanted to apply pressure with her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's constantly moving the goalposts. It's just weird. Anyways, on to the Shelly, Austin, Ace triangle. I'm so over it. I don't even believe that Austin and Shelly would even be compatible for real. I think that they've built a friendship, and I think that Shelly is worried about ruining the friendship. But is she romantically interested in him? No. She's not. Even Austin himself called it out. He was like, yeah, whenever she's kissing him, it's a different vibe. Whenever they're talking, she looks like she's so happy to be in his presence. We saw multiple occasions where Ace would plan something for Shelly, and she's actively doing something that involves Austin. She will drop that completely and give her attention to Ace. He was planning a yoga date while she was making breakfast for Austin. She left the breakfast. He was making a hibachi situation while Austin brought her up breakfast. She ate a little bit of that breakfast, left the rest to go hang out with Ace. It is very clear where you want to be. Now, logistically, is this coupling going to work either? I don't know. They live on opposite coasts, I think. Yeah, because he's in LA, she's in New York, if I'm not mistaken. And then the age gap as well. I feel like she's got 6 years on him, something like that. So logistically, is it even going to work? I don't know. But in terms of Love Island, they're very drawn to each other. And at this point, Austin is kind of a casualty. After that pucker or pie challenge, when this man put the cream in his mouth and he went to make out with, listen, first of all, that episode was for the baby freaks. The episode even after that, the one with the whips and the chains and the handcuffs and the whatever, baby, that was for the real freaks, okay? She was like, oh, I'm so turned on, I'm so whatever. And then after that, the Islanders were saying like, oh, Ace, you should lick the icing off of Shelly's boobs. And she's like, do you want to lick it? Austin is sitting right there. So in as much as like, yeah, you're on Love Island, yeah, you're playing a game or whatever, at some point feelings are going to get involved. And if you are not serious about Austin, girl, cut it off. Because it's getting to the point where you're not even really considering how your actions are going to negatively affect this man. And Austin isn't even my favorite person on this cast at all. But I'm getting to the point where Shelly and Ace's game is now more hurtful than anything. And it's time for them to wrap it up. We got another voice note, so let's play it.
Yeah, so Ace is actually gone wild. I don't even know what he's thinking, being so mean to Amaya.
It was shocking watching him.
Yeah, nor do I know why he would even pick her if that's how he's going to act. So, yeah.
What were you saying the entire episode? You were like, there's no way he likes her. There's no way he likes her.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's just, it's so weird. Like, why would he pick her if he hasn't given a single sign that shows that he likes her?
He's letting Austin move in on Shelly. We also saw a theory that may be possible that Ace and Shelly are planning to be endgame and, like, pretending to like other people and then find each other, which I think is plausible. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Have a great night, Queenie.
Also, Sydney, I love how you always tell me to have a great night. Like, your voice is so buttery and love you. I think it's plausible too. We don't know what kind of pre-gaming they were doing. If they were interacting because there was a lot of liking back and forth. Like they're very aware of each other on social media. Who's to say? Perfect example. Remember in Love is Blind when people were saying that Lydia knew that Uche was going on the show because she saw like the same producer following him, and like they feel like she followed her on if she followed him on the show. I don't know if it went that deep, but she was able to tell that he was going on the show. You mean to tell me these two who are very well aware of each other weren't corroborating something? And they could have been if they're doing this like cat and mouse thing. They go wild and cause some more. They come back together and they have a whirlwind romance. That sounds like a winning strategy to me. It surely does. If that's the strategy, don't include anybody else in it. If y'all want to do your cat and mouse thing, you can do that on your own. Don't involve other people because clearly it is affecting them negatively and it's just not fair. Amaya was on the receiving end of some cold behavior from Ace. And now Austin is on the receiving end of this like tug of war of his heart, and that's not fair either, let's talk about some other things that were going on this week. So Jeremiah has been getting irritated, as we know, with the way that Huda has been speaking to him. So basically she says a lot of like, oh, good job, or you're doing great. And he thinks that it's like patronizing. He thinks that she's speaking to him as if he is a child. Now, I don't know if he would have thought that if he didn't know she was a mom, but it feels like he's now using that because he knows she's a mom. And so he's like, you know what? I would like to have somebody to speak to about this. And she says, you know what? I will talk to Nick. The funniest thing about this whole thing is that in the Pucker or Pie challenge, after the fact, Nick told Jeremiah, I actually feel like your girl is fraudulent. Literally said the word fraudulent. He was like, I don't think that she's serious about you. I think that this is a game for her. Wada. Meanwhile, Huda is planning on confiding in this man, her biggest secret. I'm like, yo, you can't even write this. So after Nick had said that to Jeremiah caught an attitude and he really was throwing a little baby tantrum. Let's be for real. And so Huda was upset, right? The way that they resolve conflict is a little bit problematic for me. Like they're either going back and forth, like almost gaslighting each other in a way. And then when things aren't getting resolved, Huda will resort to something sexual. Either let's go in the shower, they do something in the bed, she straddles him, they make out. It's always something sexual. And I'm thinking, baby girl, be careful. Be careful, especially because on the Friday episode, she was talking about how people tend to leave her. And so I don't know if it's because she doesn't build strong enough bonds or she builds too tight of bonds that people feel suffocated and they want to escape. Like, I'm not quite sure what the reason is, but this is a fear of hers that people leave her. I think that she's smothering Jeremiah and he is sick of it. On top of it too, he has expressed on multiple occasions, I don't like A, B, C, and D. And she hasn't changed her behavior at all. If anything, it's been getting worse by the day. So then she decides to finally have this conversation with Nick, right? Color me shocked. I don't even know if that's a saying, but it's a saying today. She's like, hey, Nick, I have a secret to tell you. This man, his mind is racing. And because Huda drags it out, I can only imagine what these men think that she's about to say. But finally she's like, I'm a mommy. Who even says I'm a mommy? Either I'm a mom, I have a kid, like I'm a mommy. He's like, you're a mommy? Mamacita. And then she's like, no, like I'm a mom. And he's like, of what? A dog? She's like, no, like I have a daughter. Like a human child, like in real life? And she's like, yes. And then this man is like, what's he or she's name? She just said she has a daughter. I need you to focus, Nick. I need you to focus. Anyways, this man says what I never would have expected. He's like, oh, wow, you know, that's so courageous. You're so brave to come on the show being a mom, blah, blah, blah. I actually can relate because there is this couple who was struggling to have kids and I donated my sperm for them to have a child. So technically I'm a father too. Oh, wow. I didn't see that one coming. Now, the only thing that makes me weary is that he said there was this couple and he volunteered his sperm. Is there legal documentation to exonerate you from any parental responsibilities? That's what I would like to know. Similar to Huda, he wasn't sure when he would share this information. I don't even know when the time would be. But yeah, anyways, he ends up having a conversation with Jeremiah and he's like, honestly, I do think that it's exciting. You know, I get to be the fun uncle and stuff. Crazy how he's already calling himself uncle because that insinuates that Jeremiah would be the dad. So he's like, yeah, it's exciting. It's great and all, but this is a big responsibility. And this isn't the first time that Jeremiah is hearing this. Even Alondra was like, when you accept Huda, you're accepting the baby as well. And we say baby, but she's 5. So Jeremiah is still grappling with this. He's grappling with this, right? A bombshell comes in. Her name is Iris. He's making out with her in the challenge. Mind you, before that, Huda was making out with those 2 other bombshells being Pepe and Jalen, fully enjoying herself, right? But all of a sudden, she's freaking out when Jeremiah is kissing Iris. She's bending backwards and she's like, bitch, not too much. Stop. Stop with that. It's enough, Huda. Seriously. But anyways, when this bombshell comes in, Huda is stressed again. She's saying, well, you said that you were going to do more. Like, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you taking me on dates like the other guys are taking me on? Why can't you make my breakfast properly? Why can't you just be a man like the rest of the men here? Like, it's too much. It's way too much. And this guy's like, you know, I'm still processing the fact that you're a mom. Like, I'm going through a lot. And this is where we finally get to see that he can't fake that this is a problem for him. He's been trying to make it seem like he's okay with it, but he's finally told Huda, listen, you dropped a bomb on me. And I'm still trying to decide if I'm okay with it, you know? I'm glad that he finally said that because he's been more clear with other people than he has been with Huda. So yeah, the cracks are definitely starting to show with these 2. There was even a time in bed where she was like, do I have to worry about you on the outside? Huh? I like to share location. Are you okay with sharing location? People tend to leave me. Are you going to leave me? Baby, he will. If you keep acting like this, if you keep acting this insecure, it's going to be a problem. These bombshells, they came in, they're doing the damn thing. Iris was trying to make a play for Jeremiah, but she said that she got the ick after she saw a hickey on his neck. She was like, oh, I'm not even trying to deal with all that. Speaking of the other 2 bombshells, we have Pepe. Actually, no, let's start with Jalen because there's not as much going on with Jalen. Jalen is here for Alondra. Love it. Southern boy, Southern charm, Southern hospitality. Like the man is just exactly what Alondra needed. She's now realizing what it looks like when somebody is genuinely interested in her. And even though Taylor started to step it up, she questions if he's only doing it because now he has competition. Girl, that's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. I hope that she fully leans into this connection with Jalen. I love where this could go. Pepe's talking to Cierra. Pepe's talking to Amaya. Pepe, not me calling her Pepe like Peppa Pig. Pepe is talking to Hannah. Now, Hannah gave us a teaser in that BDSM episode. She was like, I like chaos. You know, I tend to feel a little bit cagey once I'm in something. And, you know, I just want to explore. I just want to see what's out there. As soon as Pepe came in, she was jumping on him. Literally. I wish I was joking. She literally was jumping on this man. And I'm like, oh, I thought she and Charlie were pretty solid, but I guess not. And even Charlie himself, he was like, I think she's going to do something with him. Why was that your first thought? Like, he had no faith in her. He had no faith in her at all. So, this could be the end for Charlie and Hannah as well. Honestly, I'm not mad at it. We weren't seeing much of them to begin with anyway. So like, okay, whatever. If a guy is going to go home next, yeah, because I think there's more guys than girls. It probably is going to be Charlie at this point. Because outside of Hannah, who was checking for Charlie? Remember, he was complaining, oh, the American girls don't like me because, I'm not like the typical American guy. I don't even think that that's the case. But he hasn't really made much of an attempt with the other women. So if Hannah really sticks to Pepe, Charlie, it's your time. Ace is connecting with Iris a lot. They have a lot in common. They're both looking for something serious, something long-term. They're both shocked by how well they've been getting along. Thank God. Maybe finally we can move on from this back and forth, this push and pull, this tug of war with this Austin man, okay? Maybe finally he'll have somebody to focus on where he can leave Shelly alone. And then Shelly will have to expose her cards for real. When Ace is no longer checking for you and all you have is Austin, are you going to stick with Austin? I don't know. Then we have Nick, who is also talking to Iris. He likes her a lot. And then Cierra likes Pepe a lot, right? I think that Nick and Iris have a stronger bond than Cierra and Pepe. So I think that Cierra might be in trouble real soon, which sucks. Like, she just came out of a triangle. She felt like she just got her man. And then here comes another girl like blowing up her spot, right? Nick says that Iris is exactly his type. Like, to the T, you're my girl. You're my spec. I was shocked by that. I thought Cierra would have been like exactly the type of girl that he wanted. Not that he ever explicitly said that, but it just gave like, oh, this is my girl. As soon as Cierra walked in, he was so enamored by her. So I thought that that was the case, but Iris really gets him going. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I think we have one more voice note. Yes. I got one more voice note to play for you guys.
Okay, Queenie, we're going to give you who we think the Bombshells should couple up with. Robbie, would you like to start us off? Iris. Is that her name?
Yeah, it's Iris.
Ideal.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I really see her
Vibing with
anyone on the island.
Really?
Okay, then who do you want for like the most drama?
Like, I feel like she's probably gonna go for Nick because they're each other's types, and Nick has a little history of like going for whatever comes for him. Yeah, but
I think that she's gonna be with Jeremiah. Okay, now the boys. The black one, this other one, Alondria, for sure.
locked in. It's already locked in.
And then Pepe, Hannah, or Cierra.
No, it's gonna be Hannah.
I mean, the way they were all over the place, that was insane.
Yeah, Cierra, he likes how she looks, but he likes Hannah more.
Okay, that's our thoughts for tonight.
Oh.
I'm actually shocked that he said that he doesn't see Iris with anybody. I recorded that without listening because I hadn't yet watched the episode, so I didn't want to be spoiled. Sydney, you saying she was gonna go for Jeremiah, you threw me all the way off. I don't know about that one. If that happens, then Nick and Cierra will have to pick each other, which means that they're definitely going to stay, most likely, unless there's some weird surprise dumping or whatever. It's likely that they're going to stay together. And so they get the opportunity to keep pursuing those connections. Do they have those conversations and we just don't get to see them? I would try to play that strategy game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to pick somebody who I feel like is a safe option and who's also going to guarantee that my other person will be chosen so that they stay. That's how I would play the game. But yeah, this has been an interesting week for sure. I'm still reeling from Nick's confession. Like, wow. Actually, if you guys were in a situation where maybe you donated your eggs, you donated your sperm, would you tell people? Especially because, like, if you are a genuine donor, You don't assume any responsibility over the children who are formed, even though they share your DNA, right? So you're not technically a parent, really, biologically, yes, but really, no. Is it worth sharing? Do you have to share? And if you do share, when do you share? Interesting. It's so interesting too how like as of late there's been more of this like, oh, a mom is going on a dating show or somebody who has kids is going on a dating show. And I'm saying somebody who has kids because Tyler from Love is Blind, that was a little bit murky. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to be called a father, but baby, you're a father. Okay. And Nick, is it that bootleg situation too? Like, did y'all do something at home and now you're saying you're a sperm donor? I hope it's legit. I need it to be legit because that Tyler and Ashley fallout was just a lot. What else is going on here? Amaya, baby girl, I think it might be your time to go. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Amaya has been reconnecting with Austin. And he does say that he loves being around her. And Austin is getting annoyed with Shelly. Could it be possible that those two form a bond to stay in the villa? I don't know. And if Ace connects with Iris and Nick stays with Cierra, what happens to Shelly? If Shelly goes, I'll be so devastated. But I can't even be too mad because she's playing too much of a game at this point. Granted, yes, it's Love Island. Yes, play the field. But at some point, you have to develop something solid. You just have to. Or you're at jeopardy. You're at jeopardy? You jeopardize your spot in the villa. Okay? Because if Austin ain't checking for her and Ace ain't checking for her, ain't nobody checking for her. Could you imagine if like Jeremiah tried it on with Shelly or something? There's no way that Shelly would entertain that. But could you imagine? That would be wild. Okay, what else is going on in the villa? Huda, baby, unless you change your behavior, you might have to count your days. I don't think Jeremiah is going to put up with this for much longer, especially because he literally has so many other avenues that he could explore, but he's choosing not to. Actively choosing not to. I want Huda to really deep that, you know? It's not a situation of like, nobody's been into Jeremiah. There have been girls who have been into Jeremiah. He just doesn't give them the time of day. I don't know if they're still interested now, but they've been there. They're in there. More people are coming. Casa Amor is also coming. If she doesn't course correct, she might lose him. And unfortunately, that's just going to add to the pain that she already has from past relationships, feeling like everybody leaves her. But at this point, you're kind of feeding into that. You know what I'm saying? So... ooh, Taylor, count your days too. There's a lot of people at risk. Oh my gosh, this is great. Taylor, count your days. I think it's too little too late when it comes to Alondria. Now, is Alondria actually going to cut him off? I don't know. I don't necessarily have faith that she's going to cut things off. I think it's going to take her being stolen and Taylor being sent home for her to fully focus on Jalen. I'm so glad that Jalen's in here. I really needed an option for Alondria. Who else did I not touch? I think I touched on everybody at this point. Definitely intrigued to see what goes on in the next week. Okay, quickly touching on UK. I'm not even going to touch on the drama, just a twist that they included that I would love to be included in the US, right? So in the UK, they sent in 3 bombshells, which is quite overwhelming for week 1. There's already 6 bombshells in total. They sent 3 in at once. That was a lot. But on that date, the guys were sent out of the villa. The girls were sent into the guys' hangout thing. And the girls left at the villa got to watch what the guys were saying from the time that they entered that venue to the time that all the dates were done. I need that kind of mess. I need Shelly to hear what Ace is saying. I need Alondria to hear what Taylor is saying. I need Charlie to hear what Hannah's been saying. Like, that's the kind of mess that I need, you know? Let's put the cards on the table. A lot of people are still doing this. Oh, I'm playing the field, I'm playing. Let's put some cards on the table. It's too much wishy-washy. It's too much game playing. I'm done. I'm tired of it. You're telling me Casa Amor? Is Casa Amor even going to hit hard if these people aren't in relationships? That's what makes it so messy. What makes it so messy is the fact that somebody is in something solid. They go and call some more. Clearly, they're not as solid. They come back with somebody else. The person that calls some more comes back. They're pissed off. They fight. Like, that's what makes it spicy. Y'all got to be in a relationship, so call some more spicy. Anyways, I'm going to round up. It's midnight. Let me shut it down. Guys, let me know if you are loving Love Island season 7. Don't compare it to any other season. Do you like what's going on so far in season 7? I'm eating it up. The fact that I can just ramble about the show for hours and hours, like my friends will text me, like my boyfriend will call me and I'll be like, baby, sorry. We're doing something right now. Okay. We can text, but we can't call because I'm watching the show right now. I'm so enthralled. I'm so enamored with this season. I love it so much, but I'm going to need to see some real connections forming. I cannot bank on Huda and Jeremiah. Never. That will never be my top couple. I refuse. Yeah, you guys let me know in the comments down below. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you are not subscribing, I don't know why you wouldn't be doing that, but please do. I would greatly appreciate it. And keep sending in the voice notes. It adds so much color to the podcast. It makes me so excited. I'm so happy to hear from the people who've already sent in and potentially the people who send in the future. Yeah, as always, I'll see you again on Tuesdays. I feel like, guys, I'm losing my mind. Like I'm like delirious. I'm very sleep deprived right now. Let me end the podcast. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye-bye.